Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel PantherSchools. My name is Amit Singh and we are here in Mulesoft Composer series where in the previous two episodes we have talked about how to integrate Salesforce with Google Sheet, Slack and Salesforce. And we have also seen what is Mulesoft Composer, its limitation, what are the features and benefits, how we could get the access to Mulesoft Composer. In this video, we are going to talk about how to do the error handling in the Mulesoft Composer, how to effectively utilize the error handler component of Mulesoft Composer that is provided by out of box within Mulesoft Composer itself. So before we go ahead, please give it a like, subscribe and press that bell icon so that you don't miss any updates from our channel SFDC Panther or PantherSchools. Now let's quickly get started. So this is our flow, this is our scenario for the first day or the episode 1 where we talked about how we can send the data from one Salesforce org to another Salesforce org. And we especially talked about the leads, how we can send the leads from one org to another org. So here we are going to, if you see here, right, we have got one component which is failed and that is not being sent to Salesforce org, which is our target org. And we are not really able to uh, get notified. We are not getting notified by the system that this lead has not been sent to the third party system, which could be Salesforce. In our case it is Salesforce, but it could be any other system as well. So how we could do the error handling, proper error handling, so that if there is any error, we could do the log into the system, we could log the error into the system, as well as we could also send the Slack notification, or we could also notify to a group channel, to a channel in the Slack. We could also send the emails to the specific group. So we can do so many things based on that record or based on that error handler we have got. So before we go ahead and start implementing, let's talk about error handler component itself. So Mulesoft has recently given us this capability for using error handler. This is still in beta version, but I'm sure by the speed that Mulesoft or Salesforce is enhancing the product, it will be general available in the coming releases. There is no such date so far, but we are expecting, we are forward looking that it is going to be general available in the next coming releases. Okay, so this error handler has got two components, one is watch and one is on error. So if you are from a Salesforce background, how the error handler basically is, what is the error handler if you try to compare with Apex? So your watch component is nothing, it is a try component, and on error component is nothing, it is a catch component. So any component, any specific operation that you wanted to catch or look for the error, you would put within this watch element, watch component, and if there is any error, your on error is going to execute, and then you're going to work on the manipulation, on the logic that you have. If you are from the Mulesoft background, you are from, like, you are very familiar with the Mulesoft, you have got so many years of experience, or maybe you have just started Mulesoft, your watch is going to be a normal flow. It could be a flow or it could be a sub flow, and then this on error is going to be having two things. Like if you remember, or if you have worked on on error on the Mulesoft side, there are two things: on error continue and on error propagate. So similarly here we have got two things within the on error itself, that is continue, and then there is stop. So the stop denotes to on error propagate and continue denotes to on error continue. So whenever you wanted to continue the normal execution of your Mulesoft Composer flow, you would select on error continue, and if you wanted to stop the execution, you wanted to do the logging, notify to Slack channel, send the email, you would use on error stop. So this is just the simple simple test that I have made into my Mulesoft Composer flow, but we are going to see how you could make it in your Composer flow that we have talked about, and we are going to take the first episode scenario where we are sending the leads from one Salesforce org to another Salesforce org. as we talked about in the starting of this video itself, this is our flow which we have named as main SFDC to Hindi org, that these are the two different Salesforce orgs. You're getting this error. So let's implement the error handler here in Mulesoft. And as a prerequisite, what you need to do is you need to create an object that I have already created, that is composer logs, composer errors. So this is my object which I've already created, composer errors, and this has very basic fields, like not such fancy fields. Few of the fields are here, like 3 fields you could see here. What is the payload? The payload basically what we are sending from one system to another system, okay? And then description is what error we are getting and what is the type of our error. So these are the 3 fields that we are having here. The payload is a type of rich text area, description is text area, error type is text area. So these two we are going to get from the error handler, and this is the payload which we are going to prepare by ourselves. So this is the object where we are going to store any error that comes as part of our Mulesoft Composer flow. Now let's quickly get back and navigate to our flow, and now we wanted to modify the flow. So what we will do is we will deactivate the flow for a certain period of time, because we really need to make the changes, okay? And in the real time you're definitely not going to deactivate because it might impact. So you really have to implement the error handling before only, like before activating the flow. So we are going to edit it, or you could also do the clone. If you don't want it to deactivate the flow, you could do the cloning like Salesforce flow. You could just do the clone, and it's going to create the clone version of your own flow. You could make the changes, you could test it, and once everything is done, you could activate it. So till you don't activate this new version of your flow, it's really going to your previous version of your flow is going to be active, and you would be able to work effectively, okay? If you see here, it is copy of main SFDC Hindi org. So this is the flow which we cloned the flow and we got the copy. I'm not going to work on the copy, I'm going to work on the main flow that we have. So go ahead, you open your flow and click on view. You would be here into the view mode, and now we wanted to modify it, so we have to click on this deactivate button. So let's click on that deactivate button, and our flow is now deactivated. Any further leads are not going to be sent to Salesforce. Now here, if you see, right, we have got two actions, which is like which one is creating a record, creating a lead record into the target system, and then there is another action which is updating the lead record into the source system, okay? And we are suspecting that there could be some error on the step number 2, and there could also be an error on the step number 3. So what we would do is we would wrap these two components, these two steps within the error handler, and then error handler is going to watch for the errors. If there is any error, it is going to tell us that there is some error, and then we are going to immediately catch that error into the object, and we will also send the message to our Slack channel. So after the step number 1, go ahead and click on plus sign, and then you will see that there is an option called error handler. So select that, and you would see the screen that we have seen in the PPT slides, okay? We've got watch, we have got on error, and on error there are two options. After running, there are two options like continue and stop. So if you wanted to keep continuing the flow, you will select continue. If you wanted to immediately stop the flow, like whatever the steps you have added within on error as well as the after step, you need to select stop. So we'll definitely select stop. So our flow is going to stop, and then what we will do is we will create a record in Salesforce. So for that, let's click on plus and select system actions. So our object is within the org where our composer is installed, which is this org itself, and that is main org as well. So we will select Salesforce, and then from the available connections we will select main org, Now what we want to do is, as an action, we are going to create a new record, okay, and then what object we need to do. So it says there is, I see that there is an error called invalid connection, so we'll go ahead and click on reconnect. So if it will ask you to log in again with your credentials, so just go ahead, provide your username and password. If it is asking for you to like grant the access like it is asking for me, so go ahead and grant it and allow the access for your composer to your main org, and you will, we can see that the connection has been successfully established, reconnected, okay, and then that error should be gone. What object we wanted to create here is, that is composer error. So this is my object that I wanted to create, okay. So what fields we wanted to create? We have got three fields. One is error type, one is error description, and then payload. So select those three fields, click on apply, and you will see that there are three fields. One is description. So from where we'll get the description? Click on this search box, click on this text, and keep scrolling to the bottom. You would see there would be an error handler component, and select this error description. Similarly, do for error type as well. Now what payload we wanted to prepare here? What is going to be the value for payload? So we basically wanted to store which lead we have created in our source org that has not been sent to target org, okay, and the record ID. For now we are only going to store the record ID of the lead. So we will click on payload, and this is our trigger, right? This is our source from where we are sending the data. So we are going to select, we are going to search for lead ID and then select that. That's it. Now we have created the record into the target system. We also wanted to send the error message to the Slack channel as well. So this is a workspace that we have worked in the previous videos. So I have created a channel called Composer Exceptions. This is the channel where we wanted to post all the exceptions that are coming as part of Mulesoft Composer. So let's quickly click on a plus icon, select system action, and this time we are going to select Slack as part of our target system where we wanted to send the data. And this is our PantherSchools connection. This is our Slack channel. What is an action? We wanted to post message to a channel. What is our channel? We will select from the drop down, and that channel is composer exceptions. What is the message? That is going to be the error type as well as the description. So what we will do is, we will click on this text box, we will select custom expression, and here we are going to type our message. We are going to prepare our message where we will say there was an error while sending the lead. Then we are going to put the lead name, then we are going to put the error type, and then we are going to put the description. So this is the message which I have prepared is, there was an error while sending the lead. So we have selected the first name and last name of lead. With the error, selected error description and the error type, then selected error type, and we are using 2/n, which is going to create two new lines, and saying that source record lead ID is lead ID. Now from where we got this? As we all know that within the data tab we are going to get the complete data, and that's it. That's what we are going to take it here, and we are going to take the advantage of. Once you see that there is a message called valid syntax, click on apply and go ahead. So our flow, which is basically the error part, the on error part, is working perfectly. There is no such issue. We got create record, we got post into the Slack message. What steps we are watching, where the error could be, like, and now if you have a question what kind of components we would be putting here is, then it's like there is no such hard and fast rule like what component you should be putting here is. The only thing that I would say is it could be based on your previous experiences where you might have noticed that this is the place where you get the error, or maybe it could be based on the intuition that this is the place or this is the component where there could be an error in your flow. Okay, so now these are the two components where we are anticipating the errors. So let's go ahead, because we cannot really do the drag and drop and put it inside that error handler. So we will go ahead and click on plus icon, select system action, Salesforce, and this time we are going to select my Hindi Salesforce org. What is the action that we wanted to take is create new record. Okay, what object we wanted to create is lead. But if you see, we are getting this invalid connection. That means there is some error in this connection as well, and we need to reconnect it, because there could be a possibility that the connection has been revoked, or maybe the password has been changed for our target org. So let's go ahead and reconnect. If you see that reconnect option for there for you as well, so go ahead and reconnect it, providing the credentials and the same way we have done into the previous videos. So I have reconnected my org, and it's loading it. So in within a few seconds I would see that the org has been connected and the connection has been changed successfully. So we wanted to send first name, last name, email, company, then the source org lead ID. So we will click on select additional fields, and we are going to select first name. Last name is already there. Then we are going to select company is also there. So email, then lead source and source lead ID. Then go ahead and click on apply. So we have got, these are the fields that we wanted to send from our source org to the target org. So company, as we know that there is a field company on the lead as well. Similarly, we have got a last name, and following the same way we have to provide all the values for email, first name, lead source, and all other values. So we have selected all the fields, and our mapping is done. This was the first step, number 4. Then there is going to be one more step which we wanted to watch for, is updating the target org lead ID into the lead ID of our source org as well, into the lead record, not lead ID. So go ahead and click on plus, select system action, Salesforce, and this time it is going to be main org because that is our source org. We are going to select update record. What record we wanted to update is going to be lead. And which record? It's definitely going to ask for the lead ID. We are going to select lead ID from the trigger, because we have triggered, like, there is a lead created, the composer got triggered, and then it sent the information to target org, and then we are updating whatever the information we have got from target org. So we will select lead ID. This is our ID which we wanted to update, and then what value we wanted to update is, that is going to be target Salesforce lead ID. So select that field, click on apply, and for the value what we have to do is we need to keep scrolling to the bottom, and you would see that for the action which says that create new record in Salesforce, you would see ID is an attribute, so select that and we are done. And then go ahead and delete the other steps that we have, because we really don't need these steps now, and then save the flow. So basically what we did is we said, okay, have a source for our main org as a target org, not target, our main org as source org, and then have an error handler where error handler is going to watch out for creating a record into the target org as well as updating a record into the source org. And then if there is any error, stop the flow and then create a record into the system and then post the same into the Slack channel as well. Now it's time to test. So let's go ahead and test it. So to test, as you already know, we have to click on test, and it is going to wait for the test to be started. And once the test is started, we need to create a lead record so that we can throw the error. So now you can see here the test has been recorded. Test had not recorded, it has been started. So what we have to do is we really have to create a lead record here. I have got this lead record which is having Max. The Mule is the name of our lead, I'm going to clone the same lead, change the email, that's it. Okay, so I'm just changing the email, and then we don't have anything on the target Salesforce ID, and that's fine. Let's go ahead and click on save. So this is our lead with the same name, having the identical values as other fields. Just the only field that is different, that doesn't have any value, is email. Like the email is quite different because we cannot enter the duplicate email on the lead email field because of some validation in place, or there is some validation that is in place within my Salesforce org. So we are still waiting for the trigger to get hold of the record which we have created. Let's wait for maybe 30 seconds or a minute. So you could see here now it says that saved 3 minutes ago. We've got some error which says the test finished with error, and if you come back and scroll down, you could see here this portion, the on error portion, has been successfully executed, where we got the green check marks that says this particular section has been executed. We have got the green check marks next to our post to Slack channel as well, that says this particular portion also has been executed. Now if we get back to our Slack channel, the composer exceptions, you could see earlier we didn't had anything, and this is what we have got now, which says there was an error while sending. This is our lead and this is the error. Okay, and this is our source record lead ID. And we could also verify that the same information is there also within the object called composer errors, and here is the one. You could see the information about the composer error as well. You could have multiple fields like resolution status, what was the error, and was it resolved or not. That kind of field you could definitely add, but this is just the very simple handler that I have showcased here. Now you could also maybe send the information to Zero or some other system, and you could log the information as bug. Now let's quickly go ahead and edit this, and now what we will do is we will say, okay, instead of stopping, let's do the on error continue. Okay, and then after continue, let's click on plus sign, click on like after this error handler. Okay, this is the error handler number 2, right? After error handler, on the bottom, click on plus sign, select system action, and maybe not maybe, let's select Slack, select the correct Slack connection. Action, we are going to say post message to channel. Channel is going to be, okay, we need to select from the pick list. I'm going to select sales channel, and message I will say I am there even there is some error. We need to use custom expression. So what we just did it, we said, okay, even if there is any error, I wanted to post the Slack channel. I wanted to post a message into the Slack channel. So let's go ahead and click on test to test this flow, and then we will again follow the same steps like cloning the lead, waiting for the test to get started, pick up the record, and then see what is happening. Either we are getting the two Slack messages or not. So the test has been started. Let's clone the same lead. We will change the email, that's it. So instead of Mule 1, I'm changing to Mule 2, and let's save it. Okay, we have saved the lead record. We'll wait for our test to pick up that record, and then we will see what happens. Okay, so as you can see that our flow has been successfully tested, executed. We are getting some error, that's why our error component is getting executed. And if you scroll down, you would also see that the Slack channel component has also got executed. Now if we get back to our Slack channel, we would see that there is another message into the composer exception channel as well, and we could also see that there is a message into the sales channel as well. So that's how your both the on error continue as well as on error stop works in your composer flows. So this is it for this video. Thank you for your time, and I really appreciate you being here till the last video, till the last minute of the video. Thank you again, and please give it a like, share, subscribe, and it really motivates us for creating the new videos. And again, if you have any scenarios, please feel free to put into the comment section. Thank you, and we will meet into the next video.